they're finding their bar to go below. Welcome to episode 3 of Podigious, your weekly over-analytical tour through the Digimon universe. I'm Jeff Ruberg, and I'm joined by Ashley McDonnell.
Hi.
And Asher Softman.
Hey.
This week we're covering the second half of the Devimon arc, so here's a quick recap of these episodes. We pick up immediately after Devimon lured everyone into taking off their clothes and split up File Island to separate the children.
In episode 9, Sub-Zero Ice Punch, Tai and Matt get into a fist fight because Matt is frustrated he can't help TK. They expel Black Gears from Frosty the Snowman and an abominable snowman.
In episode 10, A Clue from the Digipass, Mimi is harassed by another poop Digimon and his mouse friend until she finds Izzy, who is obsessed with studying ruins with his laptop. Frustrated by Izzy, Mimi runs into a labyrinth, but is then attacked by a centaur. Izzy helps her out of the maze, and they get rid of the centaur's black gear. As the centaur dumps exposition on them, they are attacked by Leomon, who is repelled by the light of their Digivices.
In episode 11, The Dancing Digimon, Joe and Sora find a church with humans being all creepy with weird 90s dance moves, but the humans turn out to be ghost Digimon and everyone is captured to be fed to the ghosts. Biomon and Gomamon free the kids and they defeat the ghost Digimon by repeating a silly, not at all religious chant.
In episode 12, Digibaby Boom, TK finds Primary Village, the birthplace of all Digimon and tonal inconsistency of the adventure universe, and gets into childish fights with the village's caretaker, a red Pikachu. Patamon still does not evolve, but does play tug of war.
In episode 13, The Legend of the Digidestined, Leomon attacks TK, but the kids reunite and free him of his possession by Devimon using the light of the Digivices. Leomon tells the children of a prophecy of the Digidestined, beginning the series' descent into Digiword Hell. The kids confront Devimon, but the 6 champion Digimon are pathetic, but do look cute gnawing on the limbs of the giant demon. Devimon, knowing the prophecy that the smallest of the children would destroy him, attacks TK and Patamon. Patamon digivolves into an angel and defeats Devimon, sacrificing himself in the process and returning to an egg form. I kind of liked the episode with Kay and Patamon on their own, with, what's his name, Electamon?
Elecmon.
Yeah, Elecmon.
It's not Electabuzz.
Electabuzz. No, I remember liking Elecmon as a child.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I think it's just because the pattern of his like red and purple thing makes it look like fake hair, and I think that's really funny. I don't know. But no, I liked the episode because I thought it captured childhood really well.
I guess of these 5, it was 5 episodes, my favorite is probably Bakemon one with Joe and Sora, for no particular reason.
Oh, now you reminded me of how horrible everything is in that, too.
I feel like these 5 episodes are not...
They're not good.
Yeah!
I feel like as soon as you have a pairing of a guy and a girl, there are things that they do wrong, kind of.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
Yeah. But, I mean, I'm overly fond of Joe and Gomamon, so...
So, of course, it was just like, which one was the Joe episode? I'm gonna like that one the most.
I mean, I didn't set out hoping for that, but yeah, that's what happened here.
If you had to choose between Joe and Gomamon and could only have one, which one would you have?
You can't do that to me. I would choose... Why would you do this?
I choose you, Gomamon!
Are you making a reference? I don't understand.
It was a Pokemon reference.
What's Pokemon?
You're the one who wrote Pikachu in...
Yeah, you're the one who made an Electabuzz joke already.
Yeah, really. I would choose Joe just because it's really kind of amazing to see how much he grows throughout both Adventure and Adventure 02.
Huh. Because I made a note in one of the episodes, I guess it was the one in this arc with Joe and Gomamon, that he, even in this episode, already wants to go to medical school. And I was surprised that, like, his arc, at least in terms of career, was already defined. Like, he didn't change in that respect.
There are complicated things with the dub and Joe and medical school, actually. But it's a lot about the pressure from his father and his older brothers to go into medical school.
Okay.
I feel like they cut some of it out of the dub, but I don't know, and they probably added it in places too. I mean, he's what, 12, 11? What 12 or 11 year, what elementary schooler is like, yeah, I'm going to go to med school. It's like not even, I'm going to be a doctor. It's, I'm going to go to med school.
So, I totally love school so much.
Joe does totally love school, supposedly.
Well, see, then it makes sense.
No, it doesn't. Med school is as hell.
Yeah.
But yeah. So that's the thing with Joe.
So you're choosing the episode with Joe and Sora.
Yeah.
I have a hard time choosing because I guess none of these really stood out. I guess I would have to go with probably the most boring one in terms of reasons, and it would be the last one, the one where they actually take down Devimon. And I can't. I know it's boring. I can't say that rewatching it, I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. It's just when I look back on the arc, like this is the one arc, that one episode that I found enjoyable in it, and it's like it's
really
only enjoyable for the obvious. It's not even obvious. It's like when you think about things that are interesting, it's like, oh yeah, because the plot happens in it.
I actually found that episode most boring to watch of these 5.
Yeah.
But probably because I've seen it so many times.
Kind of like Digivolve fight Angemon.
Yeah, and they digivolve like over and over, and
Yeah.
but the one shot of them all gnawing on Devimon is really cool. It's really funny.
If you say so.
I'm totally gonna make a gif of that. I guess I just don't love this arc in general.
Yeah.
And I guess as far as the pairings, I feel like none of the pairings really sold me, aside from Matt and Ty. And the rest of stuff that happens in that episode, I didn't really, like, oh yay, like it's a bunch of Ty and Agumon sitting on Frigimon, and I don't know.
See, for that episode, I liked all the stuff except Matt and Ty's little altercation, but we can get into that later.
A really sexy altercation.
Yeah, I have in my notes, this is the episode that inspired a million. Except there are gayer episodes between Matt and Ty later on.
This planted the seed.
Yes, this was the beginning.
I mean, part of me is like with the pairing thing, like, yeah, only Matt and Ty felt natural. And I wonder if I would have liked it better if, like, Mimi and Sora had been paired together, and then Matt and Joe, or not Matt and Joe, Izzy and Joe, then TK can still be by himself, because wah, tiny child. Who has a Digimon who hasn't Digivolved.
Right.
What I hated about the Joe and Izzy episodes was, like, the gender dynamics within them. But I feel like you still would have gotten an interesting dynamic between Sora and Mimi, because they have not really similar personalities. Like, it still would have been funny, and there wouldn't have been the problematic, like, oh, the dude has to be a jerk or the leader thing going on.
Yeah.
Huh.
I do agree with you that it still would have been interesting. I kind of like the way they were split up here. I have, actually, I was going to subsume this into my discussion about team building, but it's sort of split up that Joe and Sora are largely the group's caretakers, so they were together. And Matt and Ty are, driving forces, the heavy hitters, the alpha dudes. So it makes sense that they were together. And Mimi and Izzy, this one's a little harder of a stretch, but little bit. But in a way, they're kind of the specialists. Izzy with his computer, obviously. But Mimi has, even now, she is the one that sort of gets people on her side. Gets Digimon on her side anyway, which we'll talk about, I'm sure. So while I agree that some of the pairings, if the idea here was to make the kids come together as a team, some of the particularly Mimi and Izzy just doesn't work very well. I do like the way it panned out.
I guess in a way it also is kind of optimized for maximal conflict in terms of, I feel like Joe and Sora are probably the least fitting that theory, but I mean...
But that's exactly what happened, is they, like, artificially made conflict by having it be like, Sora, you're gonna artificially make Joe the leader.
Oh, that was... Oh, anyway. I mean, I do like as far as excuses to get everyone split up into teams, I do like this as an excuse, as a reason to have an arc and have them split up. It's a good way to transition from these kids are all together, whether they want to or not, to show them actually wanting to get back together, which isn't something we've really seen before. They kind of just happen to be near each other, and it's like, no, we need to get back together, which I'm sure, as we'll find in a couple episodes, will conflict with what happens later on.
But Izzy doesn't care.
Izzy will care.
Izzy, by the end of the episode, does care. Well, I guess I don't know, it doesn't take that long for him to be like, oh, I need to help her. Which is kind of why I think that conflict is kind of artificial. He's just like, I don't even notice you're here, to, of course I need to save you. Like, it doesn't feel like a real character motivation.
The writing in these episodes was even more subpar than usual.
They're finding their bar to go below.
I want to say nice things about these episodes, but I guess there's a reason I don't remember them very well.
I actually, I guess I didn't remember them. I remember the ice one because that's like a very distinct setting.
Oh yeah, and that one got replayed all the time on TV.
You mean like that one scene where Matt just like runs like 5 times? They did that. They did that with the whole
That's
episode.
not what I meant, but
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's a metaphor for not a metaphor, but the same way they replayed Matt running 5 times, played the episode.
yeah.
I like how they had. So at this point, we had seen everyone digivolve. Everyone in the first episode we did. I guess the second episode of Podigious, we covered the episodes where every character gets their own digivolve.
Except TK.
Well, right, and then finally this arc we get an episode where TK and Patamon on their own. It's like he's finally gonna digivolve. Nope, nope. And it's like, it's especially clear in the Japanese names. The episodes are like, episode names are like The Blue Wolf, Garurumon, when Garurumon digivolves, or Scorching Heat, Bergermon, when Bergermon digivolves. So there's kind of a formula that if you know the next episode is going to be the Bergermon episode, that the Primary Village episode set up and then subverted. But it didn't really, it subverted it and then had him digivolve the next episode. So it wasn't very, I don't really understand the point, but it was interesting. And another note, like, it makes me wonder the way that they introduce the concept of digi-eggs and then use them an episode later. Is that effective foreshadowing, or is that just, they needed an episode to explain what a digi-egg was before making that central to the plot?
It is the latter.
I think it's more than just foreshadowing or setup, because that episode was about TK and the fact that he is the youngest.
Well, so why is the youngest dealing with the babies? Like, Elecmon also would seem pretty immature and childish.
Yeah, Elecmon is a rookie level. I was wondering about that. I was wondering if it's a thing in the digital world for the adults to go off and for the kids to look after the younger kids until medium kids are big enough to go off. Kind of interesting.
Well, I have a theory. It doesn't really become relevant until Godemon, but that the only way that they digivolve naturally is through hardship.
Yeah.
And that makes you wonder if, like, someone who's taking care of the babies wouldn't be the one who had gone through lots of hardship. Like, Elecmon isn't some grizzled. But then you have people like what's his name, the centaur? I refer to him as a centaur now. Centaurumon? Centaurumon. And Leomon, like, are those people supposed to have been, like, through battle and stuff?
It seems pretty clear that they have.
Also, Centaurumon has, like, a ring around his crotch area.
Does he?
Where?
I'm gonna look that up now.
Why did you notice that?
Yeah, what? Why are you bringing this up?
Because it bothered me.
Oh my god.
I guess
looks like
we're
he
all
just
looking
has
this up.
blueness in his ball area.
No, but there's a ring in the blueness.
I don't believe you.
That link that I shared.
Oh, like a piercing.
Oh yeah, that's what I meant. Don't know by ring.
Kind of weird.
Isn't it?
That's pretty weird. Yeah.
Because it's like, why would you add that? It just, draws attention to there being something there, when I would assume they wouldn't want to draw attention to his crotch.
That's his stomach. His crotch is all the way in
Oh
the
yeah,
back.
that's true.
It's a navel piercing.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's like where his belly button would be?
Kinda.
Still, he's like a horse dude. You'd expect, I don't know.
Okay, well, you want to talk about weird piercings in Digimon? Just look at Angemon. What is that? What are those? Why are they there? What purpose
What
do
is
they serve?
Angemon?
I really want to use that clip. What is that? What are those? I did think about that. That has to be a reference to something, right?
It really doesn't.
Angemon has to be a reference
No, like
to something?
the things on his chest. Like, that has to be a reference to something, right?
So, like, bullet wounds? Like,
Yeah, they're not ringing any bells for me.
it just looked like he got shot and he's like, I'm a badass, look at me.
Yeah, pretty much.
Mm.
I have heard Angemon referred to as, like, bondage pretty boy Digimon.
Oh my god, he totally is, though.
Yeah. Especially with his little blue ribbon thingies going on. And the mask, I guess. Digimon designers have some interesting things out.
They were like, let's make an angel, but make him really unangelic. How can we do that?
He doesn't look unangelic to me. He just, well, maybe that's because I grew up watching this show, but why?
Even when they do make an angel that looks angelic, they still do some weird things.
Well, that's because she has to match
Oh no, I meant Lucimon.
anyone.
I pasted it in Slack.
Scary looking.
Well, that's because he's always evil.
That's not true. Wait.
Yes, it is.
His name is Lucamon.
Okay. There are a couple episodes.
Well, that just means light, first of all.
Yeah, there are a couple episodes of Cross Wars where you think he's not evil, I guess.
But he is.
Yeah.
I saw those episodes. They were early enough to see.
That was weird because it's like, we know he was the main villain of an entire season. So he's not just going to be good, right?
I was hoping he'd be good. Then, oh well.
I just really wonder if it's not just the Christmas one now. I'm thinking of the Bakuman one too. Were these episodes different in Japanese? Because like
Yes.
Were they very different?
I don't know if the winter one was, but in the Japanese version of the Bakemon one, what Joe chants is actually a Buddhist mantra to make the Bakemon lose their... He does not say Bakemon lose their power over and over again.
Okay, according to our recap, it was a not at all religious chant.
It was Buddhist.
Right. But I'm thinking, like, there was definitely at least one line that referenced, like, Halloween.
Yeah, there were a few.
Yeah. I'm wondering if that was different in Japanese.
I can't remember. I know that Halloween isn't as big a deal there as States.
Right. And the ice one with Matt and Ty was, like, Frigimon talks with an accent that is very similar to Frosty the Snowman in the Frosty the Snowman
Okay,
movie.
actually, just describe your whole Frosty the Snowman and winter. Describe your whole Christmas movie thing.
Right. I don't know. Then there's visual things of, like, the Grinch, and then...
What are the visual things?
It's very, when, like, they're super mad at each other, and then they're gonna fall off a cliff, and then, like, I guess Ty is holding Matt from falling off a cliff, is, like, when the Grinch is, like, oh no, I'm gonna dump all the Christmas presents, and then his heart goes through.
I did not draw these connections.
Wait. So is Matt the Christmas presents?
Yes.
Yeah.
Matt is Ty's Christmas
Wait,
present.
Ty is the Grinch and Matt is the Christmas present?
Clearly.
Yeah. I mean, Matt is kind of a douche sometimes.
Right, so why are he the presents? Why is he the present?
What? I said Ty is a douche sometimes.
What? He's the main character.
Oh, that doesn't stop him from
Yeah,
being-
what?
I was kidding.
Ty.
I don't know. And then there's just an abominable, like, creature, like an abominable snow. It was much more like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer than anything else.
Describe how you've watched these movies over.
I can vouch for that.
Yeah, see? I told you. Every Christmas, I'm like, yeah, they're going to come on TV. Let me watch them. Especially in college, I feel.
Yeah.
I was like, I need to feel like it's Christmas. So I'm going to watch this. Like, every night I would watch a different one. It's a good time, right?
It was a good time. I like those movies.
They changed these episodes on purpose to be more like American Christmas movies.
Absolutely.
Like-
I don't know what the changes were, but I can almost certainly guarantee that.
But I mean, if it was imagery, I don't know how they could have changed imagery.
Yeah, they didn't change the imagery.
Although-
But they definitely changed lines.
I'm really curious to see if the Matt running 5 times was in the Japanese. Because I'm
too.
assuming that was like, maybe like their fight got more violent in Japanese and they cut it out and they had to make up time.
Yeah, so I thought, in general, it was interesting that none of the other kids have definitely said they don't want to fight yet, right? Not up until the primary village episode, where TK absolutely flat out refuses to fight. He refuses to let Patamon and Elecmon fight.
So there is in the first episode when they're in training and they're about to attack Kuwagumon, most of them don't want
They don't want their Digimon to fight a losing battle. I don't think any of them were like, violence is not the answer. And Mimi in particular was like, yeah, go ahead. Go for it.
because I got the impression from that scene in episode 1 that it was kind of like trying to depict these things as being beasts that need to fight, and the kids were like, no, don't fight, and that was kind of something they abandoned after that. But I guess your interpretation is true too. But they weren't like they weren't like don't fight, let's run. They were just like don't fight. I don't know. We're reading into like 2 seconds.
They didn't have anywhere to run.
Well, they fell on the cliff and everything turned out okay anyway.
Yeah, I don't think they wanted to watch their Digimon die horribly.
Yeah, they were like, you are a cute little blob, and that's a big insect thing. You're not going to win that.
But I Patamon and Elecmon should have been an even match. They seem to be a pretty even match because they're about the same size. Yeah, they're about the same size. But TK was like, "Don't fight." He's the only one to make the Digimon stop fighting.
Yeah, but it's also it's been the first time where the person they're fighting is clearly not evil or possessed or a brute that is just like a vicious beast or whatever, right?
True.
Also, just, childishness is always, when you're like a really young child, you generally are, I don't know, in childish innocence. Like,
Oh, wow. Okay, I disagree completely with that. When I was when I was younger, I was much worse.
I would love to see you fight as.
I made a guy cry.
Oh, that's so sad.
Yeah, I was in 3rd grade. I kicked him in the shin. With my shin, I kind of missed.
3rd grade is like older child.
No, 3rd grade is 8 years. 3rd grade, you're 8 and 9.
Yeah.
That's TK's age. He's 8.
What?
Yeah.
He looks like he's 4. Like,
I'm sorry,
You're gonna say
he's
he's
8.
4?
He's 8.
Okay, in Japanese he's supposed to be in 2nd grade. In English he's supposed to be in 3rd grade. So that's 8 in US
Yeah.
version. Actually has no words to.
I'm just like, I feel like second grade is where you start to become evil.
I think it also. I think once you are, being an older sibling makes you a little bit more evil.
Oh yeah, probably. I am an older sibling for out there.
And Ash is the most evil person I know.
Yeah.
Sarcasm.
But yeah, I think sibling rivalry in general makes you more like.
I'm really mean to Andrew. You've seen me be mean to Andrew.
You are pretty mean to Andrew.
But I do think it's interesting that TK, as the one who's strong enough to beat Devimon, is the only one who doesn't want to fight at all.
How do you know that he's strong enough?
But he doesn't. Once he has the power. Once Patamon can digivolve,
Once Patamon has the power, TK's like, no, stop.
Really?
He like cries and shakes his head.
I thought that was just because he didn't want to lose.
Because how is he supposed to know that? Yeah, like, he doesn't know that.
Doesn't know what?
Yeah, what?
That Patamon can win.
He doesn't know that Patamon's gonna die either.
Right.
Right.
He has a lack of information that makes him say things.
He doesn't want to see the fight, yeah.
He doesn't want to see them, but he also... Isn't he happy when he digivolves, though?
He says something stupid, like, I want to take him home with me.
They all say something stupid. Oh my god. Everyone reacts to that. Not everyone, but like a bunch of people react to that, and they all have the stupidest lines.
Yeah.
I'm like, they probably were just filling things that, weren't elaborate dialogue before.
He doesn't encourage Angemon to fight. He doesn't say anything about how strong he looks. He's just like, that's cool. Let's go home and be safe.
He doesn't talk about how he likes his hair.
No, he does not.
I'm saving that line for later.
It makes me wonder about the show as a whole, because it is all about fighting, which isn't really a message you want to give to kids, I'd imagine.
Yet so many shows are about...
I know. I'm aware of that, but why in this one?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. So many shows are about fighting that are targeted towards kids, and they all have, have some underlying message of you shouldn't need to fight or something. They all have...
That's not even this message, though. Digimon never says that.
Season 3 is...
Okay, well, I don't remember season 3.
Season 3 is the thing that I was saying about the Digimon having a primal instinct to fight in the beginning. That's like full there. I'm not talking well. It's like a big part of season 3. What I mean.
That would make sense to me because I was going to argue that in the show, in the same way that it takes it a step further from like Pokemon, where you're like Pokemon are fighting, but you're friends with them and they're cute little monster things, so it doesn't really matter, right?
Right.
Digimon is like you have that. And they're in a totally different world, and the Digimon are made out of, like, data, so who cares? Like,
it's also a matter of survival in Digimon that isn't there in Pokemon.
Right. But see, then it would make sense to me for season 3 to be the one that is more, we shouldn't fight, because it's more set in, like, the real world, where it seems there would be real consequences.
Well, the Digimon do go to the real world in seasons 1 and 2.
Well, yeah, but season 3 does have a lot more fun out. I mean, season 3, there is actually death.
Right.
Season 3 is very much, like, mostly set in the real world.
Right. Are you saying the real world matters more than the digital world?
It might be.
Well, according to Cross Wars, the digital world existed before the real world.
That makes no sense.
I may be making that up. I think it was something like existed before the internet, but then the internet, they started tapping into it and like noticed it or something. I don't know.
Still makes no sense.
We didn't watch this season because it's bad. So
Cross Wars isn't that bad. Cross Wars Part 3 of 3 is terrible.
I watched part of Cross Wars. It was not that good.
Gender time?
Gender time!
Oh,
come on,
my God,
friends.
gender
We're off
time.
to a very
Gender
distant
time.
land.
No, I hate that show.
Ashley, the fun will never end. It's gender time.
No, stop it. So Mimi and Izzy was first. All right, that's my most hated episode. So let's go. What did I dislike about this episode? Well, first of all, seriously, Mimi just gets hit on by Digimon that sling poop, like, exclusively. And, like, why?
It's actually not exclusively.
Okay, and I mean, the Numemon are poop, right?
Even better.
Isn't Sukamon, I couldn't tell if Sukamon is poop or not. Because he is like,
Sukamon
shaped
is
like a
poop.
poop.
Sukamon is poop. Numemon are like sewage or something.
Yeah.
So they're probably also poop.
I thought that was just like an American dub to say sludge instead of poop. But they were in the sewer.
They were in the sewers, and they were throwing poop. They were all throwing poop. They are all poop Digimon.
Right.
But I think
they all threw poop, and in the dub they said it was sludge.
did they?
At least for Numamon.
I don't remember.
Well, they're just dumb.
Probably they did. But Numamon doesn't look like poop. Sukamon does.
It also makes me wonder, are these representations of poop based on poop or based on the poop emoji? Is it all based
Poop
on the emoji?
emoji.
Like, where did the
Yeah.
poop emoji come from?
It came from the Digimon game. The
That's not the origin of the... I mean, like,
Oh, no. Actually, it might be the origin. Tamagotchi might be the origin of it.
Guys, I don't care.
Sorry. Gender.
Gender. You get distracted by poop.
Because we're
Oh
men.
my god.
'Cause we're
Yes.
men.
the description
Gender.
the description of this pile of poop emoji is a pile of poop that is shaped like a soft serve ice cream, brown in color, and for some reason smiling in a friendly and approachable manner.
Jeff, did you really look up that
Jeff would look up this.
way?
I really want to know where it comes from.
Anyway.
I mean, they also literally invade her privacy
do.
in very physical ways. Like, they touch her bag to activate her Digivice, which is near her butt.
And I learned in high school that you do not go through a girl's bag.
yeah, you don't know what you'll find in there.
Compasses, apparently.
I found that especially convenient that they were at an age where she could dump her purse or bag and not have anything awkward come out. But anyway, I thought it was especially
Wow.
weird that Sukamon, his arms are like, he looked like a cross between a poop emoji and an old man. And it was like a really old, creepy man.
Well, actually, he kind of has the same arm structure as Devimon. This is an arm structure that comes up a lot with Evil.
I don't know.
But Devimon's arms aren't that like creepy and old, are they?
No, because they're made proportional to his size.
Yeah.
But if you shrunk them down and stuck them and turned them yellow and stuck them on Sukamon, they'd look the same.
That's a lot of things to do to them.
Yes. The one line that got me in this episode was, a gorgeous girl like you must have a big brain. I
Yes.
really didn't know how to feel about that. Well, I don't like that line. Because it's interesting that, linking beauty with intelligence, but at the same time, like, what?
Yeah, it was all sorts of confusing.
Yeah.
I mean,
It
it's
was-
it's not really that subversive because in our society, it's like, yeah, you have the dumb blonde cliche, but in general, it's always proven that prettier people get ahead in life more. So,
Yeah. It's also a very common thing in all visual media that good people, valuable people are prettier. It was just like,
I guess Mimi handles these things well.
she does. She doesn't give them any slack.
Yeah, she's also, I guess it could be really problematic if she were like happy with the attention and she was like, oh yeah, I'm getting so much attention, which I guess does happen later, but that's
With things that aren't poop.
Yes, with things that aren't
They
poop.
aren't poop, and it's also clearly shown as being a bad thing. I don't feel so bad about it.
Yeah, okay, well, the other problematic gender thing is her dynamics with Izzy.
Mm.
And I actually had more of a problem with, Izzy is obviously a jerk. So,
Okay, that's
Problem
not
with
true.
that.
That's not true. He's not a jerk aside from this episode.
okay, but in this episode, he's a jerk.
Yes.
Anyway,
Yeah, because
but then
artificially
I actually
written
have a problem with Tentomon being, his line of, he's actually a good boy, is just boys will be boys, and you should forgive them. And I'm like,
Mhm.
no! I fucking
Yeah.
hate this.
I agree.
Yeah.
I didn't read that so much as a gender thing. It's bad because they are two different genders, and the guy dismissing the girl's very valid concerns,
Yeah.
and she was surprisingly patient with him.
Right?
But, at the same time, we do know that Izzy is not good with people. I didn't read it as much of a gender thing.
Yeah, do we know what the actual line was?
Tentomon says he gets a little wrapped up in his work and he doesn't always interact well with others, but he's a good boy.
That line is really weird because it's like, what does Tentomon know about Izzy's work? It's like he's talking like he's a parent. He does his homework.
Yeah.
and blah, blah, blah.
And it's Tentomon, pointed out the things that Ash just said, but it also ends with specific gender.
Yeah,
He is a good boy.
he's a good boy. Yeah. Yep. And Tentomon does know Izzy gets wrapped up in things because Tentomon was the one stuck with him in the giant battery
Yeah,
before.
but that was one
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
It's all he needs.
and that wasn't really work. It wasn't.
Well, neither is this. It's the same thing he's doing.
Yeah, basically.
Except he was
Yeah.
even more uncommunicative this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I have more to say about this episode too, in a not quite gender way, but even when they were fighting together, they kept getting in each other's way. Mimi gets sort of crushed against the wall by Kabuterimon, and
in Kabuterimon's butt.
Izzy, by his butt, and Izzy almost gets like needled to death by Togemon. And I was like, okay, I don't want these two fighting alongside each other anymore. Somebody save them from themselves. So that was just a little aside teamwork, I guess. But I
think it was just showing that boys and girls can't coexist in the same room.
Except Joe and Sora do just fine.
Oh, you want to talk about Joe and Sora, do you?
I do want to talk about Joe and Sora.
Okay, let's go.
Sora dismisses any leadership role and gives it all to the guy. And...
Yeah, it really pissed me off.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree on that front.
Can we start off by saying, before people get angry at us for maybe thinking we missed the point, yes, the point is that Jode isn't confident in himself and she wants him to feel better about himself. It's not that she's actually, she's letting him be the leader for a day.
Yeah.
But, right, so it's not that in a natural situation, Sora would be not dismissive, submissive. But it feels very arbitrarily and randomly set up that he needs to be the leader. Like, I think the setup is that he gets attacked by Ogremon and then feels bad about himself. And, like, Sora just makes this up. Right, like, Sora just makes that up.
Gomamon made it up, yeah.
Oh, Gomamon, and then, like, told Sora to?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Sora's like, okay, I guess. Like,
so it wasn't even her agency.
Right.
Well,
she was just going on with Gomamon.
Or did they, like, agree to do it together?
After she agreed to do it, she was the driving force behind it. And it always did seem clear to me that she was perfectly capable. But I agree that, like, why did they try to make Joe the leader? Joe is reliable, but not...
I wonder if that was a translation error. Like, there was a better reason in the Japanese.
Doesn't matter, because we're watching the dub.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that was weird.
It's just also, it's like the one situation in which, unless they all get split up again into pairs, I guess.
That's never going to happen.
Sora could have, in which Sora, like, would have been the leader. Like, as soon as Matt and Ty come back, like, whatever. But, like...
Well, yeah, I don't know. I guess if Ty weren't there, who would be the leader? I don't know. I guess...
Well, we'll find out, won't we?
And I guess when I think about it, the role that Sora has at that point, I think is very fitting for her. But anyway, we're not talking about that now.
I feel like there would have been other ways to give Joe confidence without making him the leader.
He really
See, this is a children's show.
I mean, he could have just still beat Pokemon.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever. I still like that episode. That's because I like Joe. I don't like what they do to Mimi in Izzy episode, but I do like the emotions they show with her. We get to see her actually, like, legitimately mad for good reason. She wasn't just, and this is an episode where she isn't just throwing away one-liners about clothes or shoes. Like, she wants to get back to the others. She wants Izzy to go with her. She doesn't want to leave him there.
Okay, but she doesn't react well. And she reacts at least in terms of going into the labyrinth, in a very stupid way, which frustrated me.
What did she do?
She, like, gets mad that Izzy isn't responding, so she runs into the maze, which is, like, doesn't make any sense.
I feel like that's a valid emotional response.
She runs into something and gets lost and then can't help herself out of it. Like, I feel like she could have done something that she didn't lose.
Does she know that she's going to get lost in it?
Why would you run into a maze? Like, she could
But does she know it's a maze? Like,
when you walk into it and you realize it looks confusing, you stop. I don't know. It just felt like...
I'm not sure you've ever walked into a maze, Jeff.
Yeah, like...
It normally looks kind of normal, and then you make a few turns and realize that it all looks the same.
That's true.
Ashley and I lived in a maze. We remember what it was like.
The thing is, I feel like it demeans her to have her go off and storm and, like, show that she's angry and then have to be saved, right? Like, she could have retained all of her, I don't know, but I guess that's the arc they wanted to show, that, like, then he redeems himself by helping her. But she shouldn't have gotten herself in that situation in the first place. I wonder if they could
shouldn't have ignored her.
Right, but I'm like, could they have done that arc? Could they have shown him coming around and helping her in a way that didn't involve her putting herself in a stupid situation? Like, she could have been attacked outside of her control. Well, like I said, also it's outside. But, like, I feel like it's worse to have her put herself into a stupid situation. And even if you're right that, like, okay, there are reasons why you wouldn't realize it's a maze, it still comes off as stupid. Yeah. Also, there was some line that she said in the beginning of the episode that I thought was really ridiculous. I can't remember what it was. It was, like, something about shampoo. What was it? Because you said that there wasn't any talk about hair.
There was less. Well, actually, it wasn't even that there was less. It's that she had other lines that were... But I also think that Mimi was the useful one in this episode.
Really?
Yes. I mean, yeah, Izzy guided her out of the maze, whatever. But Palmon digivolved first to fight Centarumon. And Mimi was the one with the Digivice, and she's the one who kicked the black gear.
Okay, that bothered me because, like, why didn't anyone think to do that?
She drove the episode. What?
I was really frustrated that no one thought to do that aside from her.
You have to think less and then do it.
Obviously. It's bad to be a nerd in the digital world.
That's something that bothers me in general about Izzy's characterization, is that that the writers don't really know how to write someone who's smart well. They, make him say things that are just... I don't have good examples for this arc in particular, but in the other one at least, he says a lot of things that are just gibberish. That the writer's like, oh, we don't know what that word means, so let's just throw it in. And to someone who actually knows about computers, it's really frustrating.
Jeff, this show's for 10-year-olds.
It is... Okay, it didn't directly get me involved with computers, but, like, I learned Photoshop to work with Digimon images. I learned HTML to make signatures on Digimon Forum, and knowing HTML has got me more involved with computers, which eventually made me learn programming.
You're a nerd.
Right. Okay, yes, but...
How did I not know this?
Know what?
I didn't know that you learned Photoshop to crop pictures of Digimon.
It wasn't cropping. It was a little bit indirect. I think at the time, I mainly used Microsoft Paint because it was free, and Photoshop I got like a free trial of, and it lasted like 30 days, and I, tried to use as much as I could in 30 days. But it's what set me on that road, at least. And I definitely learned HTML to make signatures, which was,
Wow.
Back in the day when you could use HTML in a signature. You can make fancy tables. I even embedded Beatles songs in my signature.
Wow.
That was good. With scrolling lyrics. Oh my god, it was awesome.
You are the coolest.
Wow. I'm learning so much about my fellow hosts. Jeff, actually.
Yeah, you already know all my secrets.
I do already know.
So do we have more about gender?
I don't.
Yeah, I mean, we solved gender, right? Like, there's no more to talk about.
Yeah, we solved all the gender dynamics in the show.
There's no more gender ever. Gender is over.
Yeah. This won't be a recurring topic in every episode or anything.
Ashley and I won't talk about it for literal hours.
No.
What would happen if we just, next episode, swapped all the gender pronouns?
It would be a much more interesting show.
But, if we just tried to keep all of our conversation the same, is this experiment ever been done to, just swap gender pronouns and see what happens?
Yes, it has. Multiple times. Just look.
What's the effect?
In any fandom on Tumblr, just look at it.
What?
What's the effect? You get a lot more girls.
Wait, what? No.
I think Jeff is trying to...
I'm saying, what if we just change language and, not actually change the characters? I mean,
Oh.
what if we just talk about
That's
it in a
not
different
as
way?
exciting.
Does that change the conversation? If we stop referring to, if we start referring to Tai as female, will we stop talking about his leadership ability?
I think we would change.
Probably.
We're not going to do it, but
Not going to do it.
we could do a little experiment on the side someday, but not for a whole episode.
Yeah, that'd be too confusing.
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought that the episode with TK was actually really good. And, I was like, this is so... I know that Ash really hates the trope of, childhood innocence, but I thought it was really good at that. And, yeah, I don't know. I didn't really have that much to say about it. I was trying to connect again.
Well, okay, so the first thing I thought when you mentioned this topic before was, why is that important? So one thing I think that we're thinking about in doing this podcast is highlighting the things about Digimon that are interesting, that stand out from other shows, that it does well, that people might not have realized it did well, whatever. And so you say that it represents childishness well. Is that something that is inherently hard to represent in cartoons that this exceeds at?
I'm not sure it's... You go ahead.
No.
I'm not sure it's hard to represent in cartoons so much as it's just hard to represent because the people writing shows are adults.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely a thing in books. You read children and you're like, this is a really precocious, that word, child. And you're like, this is completely ridiculous. And you rarely find a book where you're like, yeah, that actually is what a child would say. And that makes total sense.
That's true. Yeah, I forgot in thinking of this that that definitely applies. And is that a testament? Like, it seems like it's not something I think about often with cartoons. Is that because, or is in shows like this, like Pokemon or things with similar demographics like Power Rangers, are those shows just better at finding writers that know how to write children well?
There are no children in Power Rangers.
Are Power Rangers? Is Power Rangers not a show for
high
similar?
schoolers.
It's not
Yeah,
for similar
they're high schoolers.
demographics, really?
I mean, it's meant for younger demographics, but they
They're in high school.
are not
The
children.
people, yeah.
Yeah.
They're in high
I
school.
think some of them are even graduated from high school within the by the time the show starts.
Huh.
I mean, I don't feel like anybody in Pokemon particularly is like a child. Exactly.
Unless they're meant to be a little kid, and then it's just kind of demeaning.
Yeah. I feel like the thing with shows meant for kids is that kids never want to be told that they're young or whatever. So you always try to portray them as like cool and older than they really are. Whereas I feel like with TK, they're just like, yeah, TK is a little immature, a little naive, and it's great. And he says really silly things, and it's awesome. And they're gonna play tug of war.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I also wonder, would a kid of his age being completely abandoned, I guess not completely abandoned, he does have Patamon, but I'm thinking like he should be pretty upset and like wondering how he's going to survive. But I guess maybe that's also something you wouldn't think about immediately.
He did start crying.
Yeah, I was going to say he did cry, so there's that.
But then when Patamon started crying, he was like, I'll take care of you, kind of. Not really. He distracted Patamon. Or Patamon distracted him, and he started talking to Patamon to try to figure out what was wrong. I think, for me, this episode doesn't ping my child sensors so much as my brother's
Pig
sensors.
my child sensors?
Whatever. Whatever.
Is that like when you're like looking, like you have a radar for children to abduct or something? And
Yes,
like,
that's exactly what it is. I
there's
have
child
my
there.
I have my white van ready and everything. But for me, this episode is about, it's the closest we really get to seeing TK's past from TK's perspective, because
That's true.
we have that
too.
flashback. We have that flashback to their family was still together, and Matt goes and helps him, and we see TK trying to be the responsible one among all these babies and immature Digimon. I think for me, it's him trying to grow up, or trying to be the grown up, trying to be what Matt is to him.
Yeah, there's also in, I guess it's much more of a thing in the beginning of Tamers, the first third of the series, whatever, that there are a lot of episodes, or a lot of scenes with just the partner, with just the kid and their Digimon. And that's really something that I guess outside of this episode, and most of the seasons don't really address that I can think of. But I guess, never mind. I don't think this is actually that connected. Because it's not really about TK raising Patamon at all.
But I think even in case of TK, being the more adult one in the episode, they still make him effectively a child trying to play an adult. So
Yeah.
that is what I liked about it.
Also, where did he get that kimono?
You're trying to apply logic to this?
No, I just where did
Because
that come
I'm
from?
recording in Logic Pro 10 if you want to get Logic.
No, that's okay. I do have questions. Why were the Bakemon people? Where did TK get that outfit that was meant for people?
Where'd they get the rope for tug of
Think
war?
about it too much. Yeah, where'd they get the rope for tug of war?
I could imagine Ilakmon had that around because he had a fishing net made out of
So I know they had to have feathers in Primary Village to foreshadow Angemon in the next episode, but does that mean that those big pillowy blocks were actually had bird feathers in them? Are they bird feathers? Are they angel feathers? Are there other Angemon or other angels or Lucimon or something they take the feathers from and put them in the pillows? Is there a factory where they just harvest Angemon feathers?
Probably they came like that because things just happen in the digital world. Things just grow out of the ground.
Okay, so there's the kimono.
You can plug the kimono grew out of the ground. You can plug your computer into a tree.
Yeah, I mean, you can plug your computer into a tree, so it could just come out of the ground. Who knows?
Okay, at least it's that makes sense. It's the digital world. Everything's digital. You can just plug it into whatever. That makes some sense. The feathers coming out of nowhere. I don't buy that. Feathers aren't digital.
Oh, I'm going digital, completely digital. Yeah, everything's completely digital, so I don't know what you're talking about.
You got anything else to say about TK? I do think that all the kids are more childish than you get to see in other shows.
What other kids shows are you comparing?
Valid.
That's all I have to say. I was thinking of
Pokemon, they kind of always act like adults that I can think of. They can completely take care of themselves, like I guess they do in this, never mind. But I don't know. Pokemon, it feels like they're
In Digimon, it's a much bigger deal that they have to
Right.
take care of themselves.
and Digimon
They're always hungry.
and Digimon goes out of its way in most seasons to talk about family.
Yeah, for sure.
Although I hate when they don't, but that's one reason I really like how season 3 handles that from the beginning. In season 1, it's kind of, and it makes sense in the story, but it's kind of, and not really an afterthought, but I mean, it's not really present until about whatever halfway, and then it becomes, then they fully flesh out the parents, which makes sense. But
Well, they do hint at it a lot.
That's
in the
true.
early episodes. We already got foreshadowing on Izzy.
yeah, and Mimi said she had a little brother.
I don't think that's actually.
I was wondering that when she said it.
I don't think she has a
I
little brother.
thought. I thought maybe there's like a baby or something, but no, because I feel like Mimi's supposed to be an only child.
She is an only child, I'm pretty sure.
Maybe they like
Because I don't think we've never seen her sibling if she has one, and they do meet all the families multiple times.
But I'm trying to think. In season 2, Season 2, they definitely like show some of the family, but I never got that I can remember that they fully showed all the family. Yeah, I'm making that up though.
Well, I mean, Mimi's family moved to America.
Oh yeah, but I mean,
America.
they said that so that they could dye her hair pink.
That's a thing that happens more in Japan.
Yeah, that's
I don't know.
anything.
But do we ever meet Davis's parents?
Yeah,
You do?
yeah.
Okay, I'll stop talking about this until we actually get there. But it's especially bad in season 4. But season 4, I guess, almost entirely takes place. Yeah.
the Digimon.
So
And even then, we still get a lot of family.
Really?
We meet Takuya's family.
yeah, that's because he's like obsessed with a birthday cake or something.
something like that. And Tomiki has an older brother, and that's his whole like character arc. Is that he has
Who's
an
is
older
that the
brother,
English name?
Tommy.
Oh yeah.
And then Koji and Koichi. But
Spoilers.
I didn't say anything. I just
They're just
mentioned
there.
them.
They're just there.
I just
Spoilers.
mentioned them. They're there.
They have family, I think.
They have family.
I mean, they don't. They're both only sibling. Wink, wink.
I mean, they have family that's not siblings.
Oh yeah. What are you trying to say?
Well, see, that's what bothers me about those relationships is that they have siblings, and it's like that's how far they went in expanding their families. And yeah, what I like about Digimon is that families are an important part when you're that age. Family is an important part of yourself and how you define yourself.
I think it's important at any age in some way.
I guess so, but it
It
feels
changes as you get older, but yeah.
yeah, it feels very. I guess there are reasons. I guess that's why most Disney movies or every Disney movie has the parents die in some way because you can relate with them more if they don't have.
It gets too complicated with their parents.
Well,
Involved.
yeah, I guess that too, but it's also like if it's about their specific relationship with their parents, you don't relate with it as much. Like you would relate with Izzy more if you didn't, unless you're adopted. You would relate with Izzy more if you weren't adopted. And I think it's good that they add these characterizations because for the people who are adopted, they can then identify with him, as opposed to keeping things generic and. I don't know. Like, if you anytime you add more characterization, you're going to separate some people, but you're also going to embrace other people.
It's not just about identification, though. It's important that Izzy's adopted, even for kids who aren't adopted, because you get to learn what that's like. You get to see what that's like. You get to feel what that could be
You
like.
get to learn all the stereotypes of what that's like.
Yeah. Those are basically broad stereotypes, but
Yeah.
Stereotype away, shit, kids.
Yeah.
Don't actually, though. It's bad.
Sorry, I'm just thinking about how much I like Izzy's mom.
Izzy's mom has got it.
Not like that.
okay. Can we delete Ashley's call now?
No.
We obviously haven't seen a lot of Digimon Death yet, but this arc showed the first deaths that we've had.
It also introduced the first birth.
You're right, it did. I didn't think about that.
Oh my god, the circle of life.
Yeah,
I mean, we've kind of arbitrarily decided what the arcs are.
that's true. That is true. Although the 2 episodes are back to back,
Right. It's like the first Digimon dies, then we get birth, and then more Digimon.
and then we get more birth, sort of potential birth. But I mean, are we sure that Bakemon died?
See, that's what I'm confused about. Are we sure that Bakuman died?
I remember what happens to him. Doesn't he like?
He gets torn to shreds, but he was already like an amalgamation of Bakemon.
See, that's what bothers me about and why I want to discuss it last week was
He didn't
that.
turn into sparkles like Devimon and Anjumon did.
But that's the problem. I feel like most of the things that looking back at the season they consider deaths. It's ambiguous what happened to the character. It's ambiguous what happened to them. Aside from good people die and they like make a grave for it. But I don't know. I think that's because the tone they were going for this. They didn't want to show gruesome deaths of every Digimon they fought. Aside from Devimon, they wanted to show that Devimon was really dead.
Except he's not.
Well, because there's no death in this universe.
Right.
which is really frustrating. Which is another thing I wanted to talk about. I don't know if you're ready for that in this thing, but they're like, what's the point of talking about death? Because like no one really they just come back, and
We don't know that yet.
they said it.
Well,
No,
he said it,
they
but
didn't.
we don't know it for a fact yet.
Wait, no, they
He
didn't.
said,
Yeah.
Anjumon said he'd come back if you want me to.
Right. So Angemon said that, and I was thinking like, oh yeah, we know that at this point Devimon doesn't really die because he gets reborn. But no, the only thing they said was that Devimon was born in Primary Village, and it's only later on that they say that once they reboot things or whatever, that everyone will be reborn. Okay, so at this point, at this point, we still think there are some consequences.
Well, there are consequences to death. You die.
Yeah.
Then you get turned into an egg.
And then
It's horrible.
you wait like 5 episodes, and then you're back to normal.
Felt longer.
I know it does, but I'm pretty sure Patamon is back. Oh no, Patamon's not back until after Tai comes back. It's in that episode. Tai comes back. That Patamon. So it is quite a while. But I think he becomes Tokomon pretty soon. I think he becomes Tokomon within 2 episodes.
That's probably true. But yeah, like, I guess we don't know for sure that the Bakemon died, but it is the first time they actually, like, really took out a Digimon.
Yeah.
Jojo.
Sora, too.
And I guess it's also the first time where it's been required. You know, like Bakemon and Devimon were the first Digimon they fought that are,
That were genuinely evil.
aside from possibly Ogremon, that were like actually malicious and
Pokemon's not evil. He's too dumb to be evil.
I've been editing. I remember your talk about episode 1 of the show about how Ogremon isn't your favorite. Not your favorite. I liked him from the beginning.
I did
Which
like Ogremon.
I don't understand. Has that changed at all now that we've seen it?
Oh, I still like Ogremon. But, I mean, obviously I have, stuff to look forward to with him.
Right. So if I didn't know there was anything more, I would kind of just found him annoying so far. Not kind of. I mean, actually annoying.
I think I found him funny because he actually, like, reacts to things.
I guess I did find it interesting that he doesn't get possessed by Devimon, goes along with it, doesn't like it at first, kind of just doesn't want to work with Leomon. I found that dynamic somewhat interesting.
Yeah.
But not enough to like him.
I'm more forgiving. Also, he's green. That's probably a point in his favor.
Oh, yeah. Also, I really, that one scene in, I guess it's the beginning of the last episode of this arc, when he's holding a baby Digimon in Primary Village, just made me think of the like scene at the end of the season when they all take a picture in Primary Village. Yeah.
I don't even...
Wow. Do you even watch Digimon? Okay, I found it. So Angemon is not there for some reason, but Denai is in a Gardramon.
Okay.
I might make this up, but I feel like he, in this scene, when they take the picture, carries a baby Digimon to call back to it. But I might be making that up.
I really don't remember. I have questions about the nature of the digital world and Digimon and constructs and what are they all actually made of, because Devimon turned Ogremon into black gears and then absorbed the gears, and then Ogremon showed up again inside of him, fully formed, except inside of him. And then Anjumon knocked Ogremon out of Devimon, and he was fine, and he wasn't gears anymore. And Devimon has put black gears into other Digimon to control them, and it made Leomon bigger. I remember that.
And it made himself bigger.
He did make himself bigger.
Wait, I'm trying to think, when Devimon grows huge, are those just, right, is it just Ogremon's black gears, or is it other gears too?
It's just Ogremon.
Huh.
You can't quote me on that. But the islands are all made of black gears, pretty much, or they have black gears in them. It seemed like they were made of black gears. Why didn't he use those?
Yeah, there should have been so many. Like when I was writing the recap, I was like, I think my first draft was like, I said Devimon absorbs the remaining black gears, and then I was like, okay, that's definitely wrong because there's one in the next episode. But then I was like, it probably isn't even without that one left. That's probably not all of them. And yeah, why wouldn't he? Oh, whatever.
What does he get out of controlling Digimon with the black gears? Because he doesn't actually seem to control them unless they're nearby. If he black gears them, mostly they just get really angry and out of control. Like, what purpose does that serve him? Why is he doing this?
Evil.
Why?
Because Devimon is a lame villain.
He's very imposing physically, but yeah, his motivations don't really, except for the one motive of trying to destroy TK. That's the one thing that makes sense.
Except he goes about it extremely.
I don't know. I think he does it pretty well. It just happens in the moment. Like, there's nothing he could have. Well, okay, yes. He could have attacked TK from the beginning.
He could have left the island, killed the kids.
Yeah. That really frustrated me. Like also the timeline doesn't make any sense because Ogremon and Leomon are there getting reprimanded by Devimon at the beginning of the TK episode, and then TK lands, and they've already been reprimanded for losing in their respective episodes. But
so TK was in the air for a really long time.
You know what? Maybe they just played those scenes out of order because otherwise it doesn't make sense why they don't attack him in that episode.
I don't know.
And they only wait until the end. So I think it does make sense. They just played the scenes weirdly.
I don't think we're supposed to question this.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I don't think I'm supposed to be questioning this whole what are Black Ears, what are Digimon, what's the world thing.
Yeah, you're getting really existential.
I think that's worthwhile to at least examine whether the show is consistent. Like Tamers does a really good job of that in terms of setting up rules for, like if you kill a Digimon, you can absorb its data, and that increases your power, and that gives you their attack. And
Tamers?
Yeah.
Frontier does that too.
You get the attack of the person that you destroy?
Don't get if it's one of the big bad guys, you get
their spirit. Yeah, they did that thing. I guess they were like collecting the parts of the world that the bad guys had destroyed or something.
Yeah, they
right?
were doing that too.
Yeah.
That was towards the end though.
But I guess those are the elements that makes those seasons more of sci-fi with like defined rules, and then this is more of a fantasy with like anything can happen. Woo.
Because like if everything's made of the same stuff, really, why couldn't Devimon just eat the island and get massive? And I think it's interesting that Devimon and Angemon are the ones that can do this. Because Angemon does this too. Not with the Black Ears, but he takes the energy from the other kids' Digivices, and that makes their Digimon shrink.
Yeah.
Back down to rookie size.
And that's going to happen again later with Angelmon.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, does any other Digimon do it?
Absorb power?
Although I guess she doesn't get them from the Digivices. She just like, they attack her thingy thing.
Yeah.
So maybe that's not really the same.
Not quite the same. But she is converting other energy into her energy, yes. Does it happen? I swear. I think it does. I can't think of a specific time, but
yeah, I mean that's
conversion happens.
It's not important when the other times are, but what I'm worried of is saying like, oh, this is really important because X happens if it's like, well, X happens every other episode and we just forgot about it. But that's probably not the case.
It doesn't happen often. Oh, there is one time later that's kind of weird. Never happens any other time, but I'll talk about it.
What is it?
It's a super gay moment that happens later.
Super gay?
Super gay.
Okay, now we're going to do our ridiculous dialogue draft, where each of us picks 3 lines of dialogue that we thought were especially ridiculous or stupid or funny or poignant. Did I say poignant?
I didn't know we were allowed to pick poignant lines.
Yeah, I didn't know we were allowed to pick poignant lines.
Fine, well, whatever. We can do that going forward.
Okay.
And we compete over getting to choose which ones we think are best. Or we could say, like, we're claiming them, we're peeing on them to mark our territory.
That's exactly what we're doing. God, okay, I have to pick PK going,
I want to take him home with me.
After seeing Angemon Digivolve, it's just like, what? Why?
Like, doesn't he already have Patamon? Like,
well, he didn't take him home.
But like, does he really want to take home Angemon instead of Patamon? Like, one is much more portable than the other.
Exactly.
Maybe it could have been like, he's like in the painting or something. I don't know.
Even blar.
It was just fire these writers, man. Anyway, that's my first pick. Next.
Jeff gets to go next.
Okay, my first pick is after Angemon defeats Devimon and is dying, and we as an audience who have watched it before know he is sacrificing himself, using all of his power or whatever, or channeling everything through him, and he's going to die and come back as a Digi-Egg. But what he says is,
TK, I'll come back again if you want me to.
And I find it ridiculous because it's so passive-aggressive.
It's true.
Do you love me, TK? Do you?
TK is crying. He's like, oh my god, don't leave me, Angemon. And Angemon's like, I'll come back if you like show you really care. Like, cry more, then I'll come back.
It's absolutely true.
All right, well, I mean, there seems to be a theme of picking lines from the last episode, so I'll pick the one line that I pointed out, which is much more ridiculous than either of the lines that Jeff and Asher have said.
Yeah.
And I guess it's when they're all fighting. They're fighting Ogremon, and Ogremon says,
Didn't anybody ever tell you not to play with fire? Someone could get hurt, namely me!
I don't even have that one written down, I just remember.
That one's so sick. That one's like not even a good joke. Well, I guess that's the point.
namely me. It's just the way he says it, too. Like,
Oh, the show. Alright, my turn again.
You have like a physical notebook with this stuff?
It's a legal pad.
What? This is the digital world.
It's easier for me to do work while I watch on Netflix, and then I can still go. This one is also from episode 3. It's Ogremon again.
Over my stinky armpits, he will.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, you guys all laughed at me when I said it was my favorite episode, and now you're picking all the lines from it.
I don't have any other lines from it. Oh, wait, no, that's not true. I do have
I only have one line from it. I already said my one line.
Okay, so my next line is from the episode, I don't remember, the one with Joe and Sora on the creepy church with the Bakuman, and they keep mentioning that they think it's Halloween or something, and I guess they go inside.
Oh, I know what line you're going to say.
I think they go inside the church and they're like,
Because it's a trick. Ah, and you're the treat.
It was really bad.
Oh, man. What shall I pick? I guess I'll go within the Ty Matt episode when Ty's clothes are frozen. And Agumon says,
Don't worry, I can give you the latest hot look. Wait! Hey, Agumon, that's smoking.
That episode had a ton of really awful dialogue. All right.
Yeah.
And then my last one, I won't pick one from episode 3.
good luck with that.
There are some great, terrible, awful things. Oh, I found one. Okay, episode 10. This is Tentomon. And he and Izzy are still flying around on their bed. They're about to crash. And Tentomon's just like,
Try to think of it as if we're just hitting the beach.
I was like, Tentomon, no. No.
oh, sad.
It's my turn now, right?
Yes, it is.
Wah, wah.
So mine, I wrote down was episode 10. Not sure if that actually is the right number. No, mine's episode 11. And it is in the opening as Joe and Gomon are at sea in the water, and Joe complains about how his bed is not a good boat, even though it's a perfect boat. It works exactly like he wanted to do as a boat. Anyway, and they get attacked by an Ogremon. No, they get attacked by Ogremon, and yeah, I'm confused. They're on the bed boat, and Joe is complaining about how he wished they had actually eaten real food, right? Wait, now I'm confused because Gomon. No, that's it.
Gomamon ate all the food.
Right, Joe had food in his bag which they had with him on the boat bed, and Gomon eats it, and then Joe is mad at him because he's like, I wanted to eat some food, and Gomon's like, I could digivolve now, and then at some point Gomon just says,
That's enough about food.
and I was like, that is the most poignant line in this whole series, because I'm sick of them talking about the mechanics of food.
Really? I love their talk about food.
It's just so, I don't know, it's like a silly detail that is an interesting thing to add to the world, but then it becomes so annoying to talk about all the time, and then they come up with like, I wish it wasn't a crucial thing they consider, because I get annoyed when if they break it, so I wouldn't want them to stop caring about it halfway through, but I also don't care about it enough for them to make it a plot point all the time. But
So basically it's just a quote that made you mad.
Yeah.
no, I was like, yes, Gomon, I agree with you 100%. We're on the same page.
Oh God, I have 2 remaining ones. Which one shall I say? Oh, I'll say the one TK, episode 12. I don't remember the context of it though. There's
What is it?
there's like a waterfall or something, and he says,
Look at all that water. Somebody must have let the bathtub overflow. I just hope it didn't wash out our way of finding the others.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
that's like right at the beginning of the episode.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's like the shot is just TK facing the waterfall. And
It
it
is.
totally seems like the kind of thing that in Japanese, would just be TK facing the waterfall with ominous music. But in
Yeah.
English, they're like, let's have this monologue about a bathtub.
Oh god, yeah, you're right.
the runner-up was Mimi in episode 10, flying on her bed saying,
Now that should be good for some frequent flyer miles.
Oh my god.
What? All right, you can find the show notes for this episode at podigious.com/3. We're at Podigious on Twitter, and I'm at Jeff, even though I don't tweet about Digimon much. You can send feedback about the show to podigious@gmail.com. If you found us on the web and are listening on the site, you could subscribe to the show on iTunes or in any podcast app, and you should, because it'll help us get the word out. Next time, we'll be back to discuss an Elvis impersonator in a monkey suit who chases children around the desert. See you next week.
bye.
Bye.
Also, Ash, you should have been like, Digi baby, boom!
Boom, bubble!
Exactly.
What?
Boom, bubble.
Boom, bubble! Also, did you get that? I just noticed that I said in the same paragraph as the poop Digimon, the centaur dumps exhibition on them.
Yeah.
Are you laughing at your own jokes?
I didn't mean that as a joke.
Oh, it was unintentional?
That's why it's good.
Why do we exist?
Yeah.
We exist to talk about Digimon?
Yeah.
That's your entire purpose in life?
We exist to overanalyze it and to use it as a lens to see humanity and our existence in the universe.
I'm reading about how Divergent is going to have a suckier opening than I thought it would, and it makes me happy.
Okay, replace Vergent with Jimon.
Want Digimon to have a suckier opening than you thought?
I just mean stop talking about Divergent. Also, Joe is conveniently standing in front of Centaurmon's pelvis ring. Also, you said it's a stomach, but his stomach, like, that's where a stomach of a horse would be. But he has a human stomach above that, right? Like,
Yeah, he has two stomachs.
It's his human crotch.
That's a fact about centaurs. They have two stomachs.
It's his human crotch.
He doesn't have one.
Oh my god! You need to watch it. Oh my god!
I actually have no idea.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! The Red Wedding. Oh my god! I was really surprised that they reenacted a scene from Game of Thrones in Attack on Titan, but it worked really well.
Your delivery was poor.
Yes, it was. I wrote down "It's a treat" and "You're the treat." So.
Oh, Jeff.
Ash's third choice is from the opening song of episode 13, and it is Digimon, Digital Monsters.
Yeah, you're right.